You're doing it all wrong. Everybody, this is Alessandro. Welcome back to my channel. So a trend that I noticed from people who are trying to follow, my channel, my tutorial, or even sometimes my students, when I teach them, during the 101, how to do an assignment and stuff like that, is that people try to follow exactly what I'm telling them to do, right? Like pixel precise, frame by frame, right? And if at some point you might think this approach is good, it can also be very, very wrong. And it was exactly the same mistake I was doing at the beginning when I was trying to learn 3D animation, and I only realized later on. So today I want to share with you. And let me go back just for 5 minutes, a while back when I was studying 3D animation, okay? Sure, at the beginning I had a general idea of the 12 principles of animation, right? So I knew more or less what I was doing. It's just I was not very familiar with the 3D software, right? So as usual, like everyone else, the very beginning I didn't have a mentor or a school or anything, so I bought some tutorial. I invested some money, I bought some tutorial that I could follow step by step. And I can guarantee you guys, at the very beginning, I was failing. Doesn't matter how much I was trying to follow those tutorials. I tried 2, 3, 4, 5 times to do the same work cycle, and it was never looking as good as the tutorial, and I couldn't understand why. To the point that at some point I was very frustrated. I was like, you know what, now I'm gonna follow exactly what they are trying to do. All right, okay, so the tutorial is going on frame 3. It put the foot controller here. The value in the channel box are translation X this, translation Y 0, translation Z this amount. I was copying exactly the same value in the channel box for every single controller, right? And of course, doing it like this, I more or less managed to improve the quality. The problem with this approach is that I was having no idea what I was doing. Sure, I had a bit of a knowledge of the work cycle and stuff like that, but a lot of other things I just did not understand. I have no idea why the hip was moving in the same way, why the weight was shifting left to right or stuff like that in that way, like it was done in the video. I was just blindly copy whatever they were doing. And I notice people sometimes do this with my tutorials. Sometimes even ask me to pass them the rig, to pass them the same reference. It doesn't matter. You should focus on the core things I'm trying to teach you, and you should be able, if you're learning, to apply to any other kind of animation. That's the right point, because if you're just so focused to try to copy frame by frame what I'm doing, okay, so okay, Alessandro is going on frame 7, is making this pose here, on frame 9 is doing like this, right? Like this, you just copy without thinking what I'm doing. Like, try to listen instead. If I'm telling you, hey, I'm doing this position because I want to have this nice silhouette, I'm posing the finger in this way because I want to see the clear silhouette of the thumb, but I want to see the tangent between these two finger. I'm doing like this because I want to have a nice arc, and I want to have the rotation of the arms leading a motion. Those are the things that you should memorize and try to understand why are done in a certain way, not just blindly copy, because first of all, you're not gonna copy very well, especially at the beginning, right? Second, even if you copy perfectly, I can tell you, next time you're gonna do another assignment without copying from my tutorial or someone else's tutorial, you're not gonna achieve as near as the same result, because again, you were just copy blindly without fully understanding what I was telling you to do. It wasn't a clear example. Sometimes when I review people doing a work cycle after they do my tutorial, they say, look, Alessandro, I copy exactly what you've done, and then I open the graph editor, I take a look at the Z space of the pelvis moving forward, and it's all kind of, shaky, right? When it's supposed to be linear, because probably you were trying to copy what you see on the video and not doing the effort to go in the graph editor and check, because again, you did not understand what you were doing. You're just copy. Same things, for example, when you're trying to do like a pose, right? Sometimes when I'm teaching you how to do poses, I'm telling you, hey, I have a contrast in the spine, in the shoulder, make sure your shoulder here is kind of overlapping because it gives more intensity. Rotate the hand in a certain way, it's more appealing. But again, then you might do, when you do it in Maya, where you can do everything in 3D, you might mess up a lot of things if you don't understand anatomy, right? I see people, oh yes, it looks good. I move the camera, the shoulder is completely broken and twisted, right? The arms, instead of moving this arm here in one axis, it's been moved all the 3 axes and be completely broken, right? Because you did not understand the original principle of what I'm trying to teach you. You just try to copy blindly. And another things, just because I'm teaching you to do in a certain way, teaching you how to push a pose, doesn't mean you can do even further, or you can do something slightly different, right? Maybe I'm doing a pose where the character is like this and the hands is like this. Well, what about if you pushing all the way behind and you adjust in a different way? Doesn't mean that the pose suddenly is not gonna be appealing anymore. Actually, can be even more appealing. Maybe there are ways to push things even more, or maybe you get an idea to change the pose in a slightly different way, still make it work and make it look good, right? So you need to have this kind of mindset where, okay, Alessandro is teaching me how to do this kind of poses and stuff like that, but doesn't mean I have to copy always exactly, right? There is other way to push. Of course, guys, let's not kid around. There is also a good chance that at the beginning, you not having the knowledge, when you're trying to make things different, still are not gonna look good, right? I said it with my students. Sometimes, obviously, I told them you don't have to necessarily copy frame by frame. They try to go a little bit above, right? And then if you're like, hey, you know what? Didn't you notice that you're breaking the shoulder? You know, this character is supposed to throw a ball, and now you have done a pose that look like it's attacking with the hands or something. So yes, the pose looks cool, but it doesn't match anymore with the acting of the animation. So again, it looked like you switch off your brain, you just focus on making a beautiful pose, not understanding the context of your animation, right? So mistakes can still happen, but those mistakes is that what will let you grow, right? I'll give you another example. For example, when people are doing a jump, right, they do the anticipation, then they do the jump, do the landing, and sometimes I have to tell them, hey, it looks very floaty, it looks he has no weight, let me show you how to exaggerate the anticipation, then do a small easy in, slow easy out, and then it pop, right, very quickly for the jump, then the hang time, and then landing, right? And I show you how to do it. Look the arc, like again look at the graph editor. But again, it doesn't mean that it's okay. If Alessandro is doing 3 frames of a slow in, needs to be exaggerated frame. No, could be 4, 5 maybe. You know, it still might work if you do it correctly, right? So again, Alessandro want to have a very snappy anticipation and hold it. You know, again, you can play a little bit. It's not that you have to follow exactly what I'm saying. Obviously, if then you do the hang time, I do 3 frames or 4 frames of hang time, you do 20. Right now suddenly look like the characters freeze in the air for no reason, unless that was your intention. Obviously it's a mistake. But again, there are ways that you can move around beyond my teaching or someone else teaching, because it's not only me. I think this can be applied to every tutorial. And one of the things I notice, and another things, is like when I give my tutorial and it says, okay, no, this tutorial is only gonna be 40 minutes, so I'm not gonna focus in every single details. But I'm telling you, hey guys, when you do this transition, check the arc of every controller, go in the graph editor and look at the rotation axis, blah, blah, blah. You want to make sure you have a nice transition. You want to have ease in, acceleration, ease out, having the overlapping between the arms and stuff like that. And then, as I say, check also the leg. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to drag this tutorial for too long. You just do the due diligence and move on to the next section, right? And then when I review people's work, it's like, okay, yes, you copy the part that I did, but you did 0 effort to do everything else. Like, for example, in my tutorial, I focus on one arm only. I polish only one arm. I show you the technique of what you need to polish or what you need to take care of it. Then I'm telling you, hey, you do the other arm, you do the legs or whatever, and I open the graph editor and I can see that they didn't do it. I take a look at the arc, say, hey, this arm here, he didn't do anything, because look how the elbow, it's all shaky. How come? Because again, some people are like, okay, if Alessandro is only doing this, I'm gonna do this. Sometimes could be afraid of taking the creativity. Sometimes, I'm gonna say very honestly, guys, it's just pure laziness. Sometimes feel like, okay, I wanna do this animation as soon as possible. I've been stuck in this animation for too long. I wanna I want to move forward. So okay, Alessandro is talking about fixing this and this, the rest, yeah, I'm gonna check very quickly and then move on. That's again the wrong attitude. Animation is an art form. You need to take care of it, shape it, put love and effort, and most important is not a mathematical equation where you copy pixel by pixel, frame by frame what someone else is doing it and you try to replicate, because let us even assume that you manage to replicate it very well, you're not learning that much. You just copy someone else's work, and I can guarantee you, you will be, with this attitude, you will be replaced by AI very, very soon. All right. So I never encourage this kind of attitude. Again, I'm showing you the process. Try to understand why I do things in a certain way, and how can you understand and replicate. Even, you know, sometimes I always say it's good, you know, you watch my tutorial a few times, close it, do it by yourself, try to memorize the things that I taught you, and then you rewatch it one more time and try again, right? Rather than play the tutorial, pause it, copy, watch it, pause it and copy like this. Sure, if at some point you really need to understand a little bit more, it's okay, but most of the time you need to be a little bit more independent. All right. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video today, and see you next time. Ciao.